My passion and life goal is to visit every country in the world and live internationally. I've already started this process by having homes in Brazil, Colombia, and Italy, with more properties to come. When I talk to people about my ambitious plan, they often tell me, I wish I could, then give me a whole list of reasons why they can't. Well, in today's video, I'm going to give all you healthcare workers, and really anyone else who's interested in living globally, some tips on how you can actually do it. I'll be covering both part-time and full-time methods that can enable you to make it all happen. What's going to surprise you is that it's far more realistic than you think. My name is Carl Pierre, and this is ENTP Live. My professional background is rooted in healthcare, which evolved into real estate investing. So when I say it's possible to convert your healthcare profession into assets worth millions of dollars that can actually afford you to live globally, I'm living proof. Here's how I did it. My start is quite simple. I grew up in a family of healthcare professionals. My dad's a respiratory therapist, my mom's a nurse, and fortunately for me, my mom had the entrepreneurial bug. She started a nursing agency, which I expanded on. We built out a home care agency, and now those companies do quite well for us as a family unit. It all, of course, derives income for me. But I did go to college to study X-ray, CT, and MRI. And while we were growing our business, I did work as an X-ray, CT, and MRI technologist. I also contracted myself out, as well as other X-ray techs, to orthopedic practices, radiological practices, and so on. You get the point here. The thing that I'm trying to stress is that my background is pretty simple and humble. I come from two immigrant parents that both decided to pursue careers in healthcare, and through their career choices, they built a business, which I expanded on, and also taught me that there is a lot of flexibility in being a healthcare professional. The reason I chose being an X-ray technologist is that the X-ray tech works all shifts throughout the day. There's a day shift, evening shift, and overnight shift. I also worked on weekends. So I saw that I was able to take a bunch of per diem jobs if I wanted to, and be able to work maybe 80 hours in a work week. And I started to think, if I could work 80 hours in a work week, I could work half of the year very aggressively and take the other half of the year off. Now that's something that is unique to healthcare workers, especially those who work around the clock, because you have that 24-hour cycle that you can literally work as much as you want and as much as your body can take in the healthcare setting, because they usually have a lot of open shifts. Because I was working in healthcare while building the business, I was in the fortunate position to not be a drain on the business. In the early years of your business, it's really important to reinvest into that company to promote growth. A mistake that a lot of entrepreneurs make is that they're in a urgent situation to have their business pay them, and they don't have growth capital for that reason. The thing that I did that was a little bit different is that I started to realize that the profits from my business had to go somewhere. I already had an interest in real estate, and business profits started to get reinvested in real estate. So rather than being dependent on an actual job or the business alone, I created another line of income for me, which was real estate income. And because of that, I'm in a pretty well-insulated situation where my net worth continues to rise as asset prices rise, that my business continues to grow as more and more people need healthcare services, and I no longer have to directly trade my time for income. And that's ultimately the recipe for being able to take your life wherever you want, is to have income coming in from multiple places so that you don't have to really think about where you're going to be and how you're going to earn your money, because your money is coming in and providing for your lifestyle wherever you go. If you're finding this video helpful and inspiring, share this with someone close to you that can relate. Sharing my videos is probably the best way to show your support and helps my channel grow. Also, if you want more videos like this video and subscribe to the channel so that you can let YouTube know to share you more of this sort of content. As general advice, healthcare workers have two clear paths that they can take to living globally without having to wait until retirement age. Not everyone is built to have a business, so I'm sharing options for those who do and those who don't want to stop working. In order to do so, I'm offering two paths: a part-time approach and a full-time approach. Since most are hesitant on taking such a radical plunge, I'll start with the part-time approach first. As I mentioned earlier, healthcare workers are in a pretty unique situation. Since most facilities are 24/7, you can take advantage of that phenomenon. And by take advantage, I mean, if you're a nurse who's working your typical 12-hour shift, you could work that 3 days a week. Like my father and my mom, they both had 12s. So they would work 3 days on and potentially 4 days off. At times, they would work 3 days on, have 4 days off, then the next 4 days off, and then 3 days on again, and having like a full week-long gap between their two shifts. And what that allowed is for them to pick up extra shifts at another job or with a healthcare agency. And by being able to work an extra 3 days meant they had 2 full-time incomes whenever they wanted to do so. So if you did that, you could work half the year, earn a full year's salary, then pick up and live in another country where the cost of living is a fraction of what it is in the United States. Let's take this a little bit further. Let's say that you're a traveling nurse where you have your primary apartment in New York, but you've traveled to LA and Honolulu, and you've been away from New York for 6 months. You could have your apartment on Airbnb generating profit for you, right? Where your apartment might be renting for about $2,500 a month, but earning you and collecting $4,500 a month in Airbnb revenue. And while you're living in another city, collecting the traveler's rate and being able to manage that housing stipend, you're saving a nest egg and not really having to spend to keep your primary residence going. So when you decide to take off for 6 months, you still have about a $2,000 a month profit coming in from your Airbnb, and you have quite a bit of savings that you could take the next 6 months off, live in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, where cost of living might only be $1,200 a month, and live a really good life while not really tapping into your savings and being able to return and reintegrate back into the travel system, because as a nurse, you know that you're in high demand. The more extreme path is to take the full-time approach. To do so, you'll need to build an income machine similar to what I've created for myself. What might sound shocking is that you can start to live globally on a full-time basis by creating as little as $1,000 a month in passive income. There's quite a few places in the world that are rather interesting and safe to live in that you could live as a single person for $1,000 a month. Now, that's not going to be a very luxurious life, but it's going to be a life that is pretty stable. You're going to be able to afford an apartment, you're going to be able to afford food, and travel locally. If you just double that to $2,000 a month, the lifestyle increases significantly. Here in Colombia, you could get by on $1,000 a month. A lot of my employees actually do. And if you made more than that, then what changes are the luxuries that you get to enjoy. How frequently do you travel? What sort of restaurants you go to? And $2,000 is a substantial amount of money for being down here as a single person. So if you wanted to take Colombia as one of your places to really test this out, it's a really good place. Another inexpensive place that a lot of nomads are going to is Bali. Bali is beautiful, scenic, green mountains, really nice beaches. And in reality, the cost of living is equally as low as it is here. There's plenty of places. If you go to nomadlist.com, you could see, and you could actually search by nomad cost of living and search for anything under $1,000. Living in Turkey, Istanbul, might be under $1,000 at this point. There's so many places that you could go that are exciting places, safe places, and you could do it on the cheap. And by taking advantage of some of these strategies that I just discussed, you're not going to really offset your life too much. And you can do it on a part-time basis or even a full-time basis. It really doesn't matter. If either of these options sound like the right path for you, you're on your way. Fortunately for you, my consulting company, Passive Workforce, can help you design a plan, get you a job with one of our companies, and even help you start your own business. Head on over to passiveworkforce.com for more information on that. Another thing you can do is work remotely. As a healthcare professional, many of you have a portable skill set that allows you to maintain a US income while working from another country. This is getting even more popular as countries are offering nomad visas to allow you to live in their country beyond the term limits of your traveler's visa, which is usually restricted to about 90 days or so. One thing that's becoming more and more popular are healthcare professionals that are doing remote work. There are a lot of administrative roles in healthcare. For example, being the lead on QA, for instance. You could perform quality assurance as a nurse for a home care agency, for a hospital, doing just nothing but chart reviews and chart audits. And you don't necessarily need to physically be in a facility to do that. And you're going to be able to take a job like that where you have a quota of, 40 charts to review per week. And you can literally take your job anywhere you are in the world and not even have to quit or change anything, but take advantage of the differences in the cost of living in your home country versus living somewhere else. Imagine being in Sicily, where for, again, $1,000 a month, if you're living in a low price community, $1,000 a month is all you need for your housing, your food, and your basics. But you're still making $80,000 a year being a QA nurse for a long-term care facility or for a hospital or something along those lines. That's just one of the things that you could do. There's other nurses and other healthcare professionals that are involved in case reviews, where they're reviewing the files of people who are going through malpractice lawsuits, working for law firms, and trying to isolate and identify where the mistake was made. Again, this is a job that you could do remotely. Another job that could be done remotely by nurses is remote case management, where you might be working for an insurance company or working for a home care agency, reviewing and managing the lives that are under management. Your job may be to evaluate someone's progression with or regression of their diabetes, and coming up with strategies to actually change a patient's diet, or to kind of consult the home health aides that are on the job to do kind of different things and try different meals to get that diabetes under control. You don't physically ever need to be on site for that. So there's just so many options for you. To keep this conversation going, let me know which country or countries you would like to live in and why. Maybe I can cover more about that particular country on the channel and help you make your dream a reality. Thank you for joining me here at ENCP Life. Like, subscribe, and don't forget to live your dreams. Also, make sure you check out my other channel, Passive Workforce, that is totally dedicated to healthcare entrepreneurship. Until the next one, take care.